Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. Leo Tolstoy. You will never be content if you look for perfection. Leo Tolstoy. You can love a person dear to you with human love, but an enemy can only be loved with divine love. Leo Tolstoy. Book name Rishi Leo Tolstoy. Book introduction. Leo Tolstoy was a Russian writer, best known for his epic novels. Born into an aristocratic Russian family, Tolstoy wrote realistic fiction and semi-autographical novels before shifting into more moral and spiritual works. When he was young, his parents died, so he was brought up by his relatives. At the age of 16, he began studying law and oriental languages. Unfortunately, he left his studies midway. Later on, he joined army with his brother after running up some heavy debts. It was at that time that he started writing. His conversion from a wealthy society author to the non-violent and spiritual anarchist of his latter days is notable. It was caused by his experience in the army and 2 trips around Europe. Later on, as he became more radical and spiritually inclined, he rejected his inherited and earned wealth, including the copyrights on his earlier works. In 1908, Tolstoy wrote a letter to a Hindu, outlining his belief in non-violence as a means for India to gain independence from colonial rule. In 1909, Gandhi read a copy of the letter when he became an activist in South Africa. He later on wrote to Tolstoy seeking proof that he was the author, which led to further correspondence. Gandhiji mentioned Tolstoy in his autobiography, calling Tolstoy the greatest apostle of non-violence that present day has produced. Although Leo Tolstoy was regarded as a Christian anarchist and not a socialist, his ideas and works still influenced socialist thinkers throughout history. He held an unromantic view of governments as essentially violent forces held together by intermediation from state authority, corruption on behalf of officials, and the indoctrination of people from a young age. Regarding his view of economics, he advocated for a return to agriculture. In his view, a simplified economy would afford a lesser need for the exchange of goods, and as such, factories and cities, the centers of industries, would become obsolete. Few excerpts from the book. It may seem surprising, but literature is the door to liberation too. We Indians shout religion, religion, but we never think about how our religion has become hollow and without any purpose. Leo Tolstoy's self-introspection makes us realize how we have lakhs of educated people who are so immersed in their daily life that they forget the importance and necessity of religion. They go to temples, bathe in holy rivers, or donate money to temples for show only. Their whole lives they don't think about religion seriously or how to utilize its ideals in their lives. They feel that they are religious by just doing rituals. Initially, I had given the highest place to the church and its orthodox religion, and then I followed Christianity. But even then, I could not find mental peace. Then I started loving truth more. Later on, he described his condition. I was lost in the forest of mental knowledge during the search. I fell deep into the darkness. Then I realized that there was no way and there was not going to be any way. Philosophy was giving me answers which I already knew. The lifestyle of Gandhiji and Tolstoy is surprisingly similar, which is difficult to find elsewhere. Both of them did what they preached. Both were excellent examples of simplicity. Gandhiji used to wear clothes weaved by himself, and Tolstoy used shoes made by himself. Tolstoy was a step ahead of Gandhiji in simplicity and self-reliance. He used to cook his food and carry his luggage during traveling. Both their lives were full of sacrifices. Tolstoy was the father of the principle of the non-cooperation movement, and Gandhiji used the non-cooperative movement to drive out English from India. Apart from Indian books, Tolstoy's library had many Indian articles published between 1902 and 1910 in the English language in India and outside. Some articles are hard to find elsewhere. They mainly were related to India's fight for independence. Leaders of the independence movement believed that this incredible human being would express his sympathy for the Indian people and give voice to their demands. He had read these books and articles in depth, and his remarks can be found in many books, which shows how attentively he had read. He used to show great interest in Indian poems, Indian leaders and their philosophy, and Indian religious books. His library had a French translation of Valmiki Ramayana with his remarks at many places. Some topics covered: a commentator of humanity, quest for religion, fall of character, false pride, introspective activity, interpretation of life's vanity. To follow one's duty is the meaning of life. God is truth. Tolstoy and Mahatma Gandhi, India and love for Indian literature.